Mike here, head trader at True Trading Group. January 15th, not a good day for me. One of the more frustrating days that I've had in a while. And my frustration does not necessarily stem from, a big red day. My frustration doesn't necessarily stem from P&L, although I'm finishing the day red. The majority of my frustration today is just the sense of feeling scattered throughout the day. And I haven't had this feeling in a very long time where I felt scattered. And what I mean by scattered is I really couldn't get focused in on a stock or on a setup. I missed a trade in the morning on MBOT, and I did not get filled. And had I gotten filled on that trade, this day probably goes much differently, and we're having a very different conversation right now. But I didn't get filled on MBOT. I'll walk you through that trade setup that I did not get filled on. And what started to happen was I started looking at other stocks and other setups, and I really didn't love a particular setup. And then I would go and I'd focus on something else. And I'm going through like a basket of 5-6 stocks that I'm looking at, and when I would kind of turn my attention away from one, then all of a sudden that stock pops and takes off. And then I'm like, oh, man. Then I would go back, I'll look at that, and then one of the other ones I was looking at, that would pop and take off. And then I would go back, and then the stock I was looking at originally even before would pop and take off. It was really good action today in small caps. There was a lot of small cap stocks that made really good moves. And I missed them all. I just missed them all. So that's kind of where my frustration came from today. It's not necessarily a big P&L disaster, and my frustration is this feeling of scatteredness, and I haven't felt that way in a while. And it happens. Obviously, no one likes to finish the day red or to have this feeling during the day. But tomorrow's a new day. The beauty about the markets is no matter how bad or how frustrating your day is, the market's always open tomorrow and you get a fresh start. So I wanted to just kind of talk you guys through that. I know, some people deal with this, and let you know, listen, I've been doing this 14 years. It still happens. I deal with it. It's uncharacteristic. It's definitely not the norm, but it happens. And there was a lot of stocks making some pretty decent moves. I missed all of them. And I couldn't get anything going. I felt scattered the whole day. So when I had that feeling of that I felt like scattered, it's important when you feel that way to not push yourself to trade. And I realized once I kind of had that feeling, I only made 2 trades today, even though there was good action throughout the day, like KTOV, MBOT, VHC, CCCL made a move in the afternoon. I mean, there was a lot of stocks that ended up making some good moves, and I missed them. There's like 2 or 3 other ones. I just can't think of them off the top of my head that made some good moves that some other people in chat were trading, and I just had to let them go. I wasn't in the zone today, and as soon as I realized that I wasn't in the zone, it was time to pump the brakes and just kind of wave the white flag for the day before I did any further damage to my P&L. And tomorrow's a new day, and I will look to get back on track tomorrow. My goal tomorrow is just to book a green day. I don't care if I make $10,000 or if I make $1. Tomorrow I just want to book a green day and erase this day and get this out of my head quickly and start the day fresh. Okay, so we'll start with this MBOT because this is the first trade I attempted and I didn't get the fill. I want to walk you through when that happened. So MBOT immediately off the bell shoots right through yesterday's highs. Okay, we went right through yesterday's highs, huge volume on MBOT, and we just surge all the way up to $14 before we put in our initial morning high. So here's your initial morning high of 14. You can see because we got our first pullback. You can see we went from 14 all the way down to 11.67. Okay, that's a big pullback from $14 down to 11.67. We found support at VWAP. That's our initial morning high. We climb back up. We break through that initial morning high, and we get a nice little increase in volume when we broke through that high. Okay, once we broke through that high, the stock continued to push and extend higher, and then bang, we put in the high of the day. Okay, so here's now your new high of the day. Okay, forget all this. None of this happened yet. So what I did was I took out my Fibonacci retracement level. I drew it out from that low to the high. And what I started to notice was the 38.2 Fibonacci level, okay, right here, lines up with the initial morning high. So we had a trade line view out crossover, and at the time, the trade line was also working its way up. You can see the trade line right here is sitting at $14. So I've got the initial morning high, the 38.2 Fib, and the trade line all sitting at 14. I was sitting right here. There's where I was. Looking for a pullback down towards 14, guys. I was trying to get long around 14.50, 14.60. I was looking for a pullback down a little bit deeper, and then I was looking for this continuation move higher, and we never quite got that pullback. This stock was in all-out short squeeze mode today, and every time the stock would give you that pullback on that initial morning run, not only do you have longs trying to get in and get long the stock, but you also had shorts panicking trying to get out. So every time the stock would have a quick little pull in, it would immediately shoot back higher because you have longs and shorts all coming in trying to buy stock, and that's why you didn't get the pullback that I was looking for down to 14. So I started the day off upset that I didn't get this trade, upset that I missed my entry on that level, because I could have been selling, I could have been long at, $14.50, $15 and be selling up at $18, $19. And this is a very, very different day and a very different discussion and lesson that we're going over. But it didn't happen. Okay, it didn't happen. I was sitting here trying to bid, and I never got a fill. We never got down that low. We never got down to test that previous high or this support level, and we just continued to churn higher. The stock company ends up doing an offering later in the day, and the stock got crushed later in the day. But that was kind of because of news. You can see what happened later in the day. The stock just got crushed. Okay, but that was the first trade that I missed, and then everything just kind of went to hell after that. BIOC, this was on my watch list today because it had this big strong run yesterday in the afternoon. Okay, we were. If you watched my video yesterday, I said I think we're going to have an active day in small caps after yesterday's action, and I was right. We had a really active day. There was a lot of good stocks that made some good moves, and I wasn't able to take advantage of them. That kind of added to my frustration because I was expecting this today. I was looking for good small cap action, and I didn't capitalize on it. So that was frustrating. It added to my frustration on the day on top of feeling scattered. Let's get to BIOC. BIOC had this little gap down. It's on my radar because of the move it had yesterday late in the day. And immediately we go red to green. Okay, we went red to green on a nice big volume bar. Okay, nice strong volume bar, red to green. And then when we pulled it back in, I'm saying to myself, I'm looking for the previous high of the day. Okay, here's your previous high. We broke through it. We pulled back in. I'm looking for that to hold support. Okay, looking for that area to hold support. We pull back in, we hold it, and as we start to bounce off this level, I get long right there. Okay, I take it to my trade announcements. So you guys can see I'm long BIOC at 225. Okay, 225, I'm long. I'm looking for a move. My first take profit was going to be in front of the current high of the day. Okay, so my first take profit was going to be right here. My second take profit would have been in front of yesterday's high right here. And if we had really big volume, like we were getting in some other small caps, like an MBOT or something like that, then I would have held on to one last piece and looked for a break above $3. Okay, that was my game plan with the trade. Didn't happen. Okay, we end up putting in a lower high, which gives us a nice little triangle pattern. Here's that like TGG triangle pattern. Okay, we hold this level one more time, and we tried to break up and out of that level. And as soon as we tried to break up and out of that level right here, I said to our members in chat, if you were in chat with me here today, you guys will remember. And I said, guys, be careful. There's no volume. Okay, I was looking for an increase in volume on the break out of this downtrend resistance line to let me know that we're going to push, and we broke above that line, and the volume never came in. And at that point, I started to get concerned. I came on the mic and chat. I said, guys, this is not enough volume. We need more volume than that for BIOC to break. And then less than 10 minutes later, bang, just gets crushed right through support level. A bunch of stop losses trigger, and the stock just kind of faded away the rest of the day. Okay, so we never got... and I ended up obviously taking a loss on that trade. I ended up selling out right there. Okay, 195. Back to my trade announcements. There it is, 195. All right, that happened so quickly. I was intending to stop at around 205. I didn't get out until 195, which is a pretty big difference. That's how quickly that move happened, and how quickly it broke through that support level. So I got caught on that one. And then lastly, I'll go over my losing trade. I took a SPY option trade in the afternoon on the back of the Brexit deal. There was the Brexit vote today, guys, and it was denied. And what I thought was going to happen here, I thought the market was going to sell off late in the afternoon. And the reason for that is not some fundamental reason that has anything to do with Brexit. I just thought that was the catalyst because when the Brexit vote was going on, the market did that. Okay, and then the Brexit vote was made official and it was announced, it was official right there. So while the vote was taking place, the market was selling off. So what I did was position myself in a put option because we had just broken below VWAP. I was looking for a trade line VWAP crossover to the downside. I was looking for the market to roll it over in the afternoon and get back down towards 258. Okay, that's what I was looking for. The reason for that is a technical reason. Let's go to the daily chart. Okay, we've been talking about this previous support level on the SPY for a while, and we're looking to see, do we get a pullback away from this resistance level? Does this resistance level hold? Okay, and do we pull back away from it? What I was thinking was at the time we had pushed through this level. Okay, we pushed through this level, we got above 260. When we started to pull in, okay, when we started to have this pull in, at the time we put in a tail. Okay, we put in a nasty little tail on the daily chart through that resistance level and then back below it. My thoughts were if we closed back below 259, that tomorrow we get a gap down. And I'm probably looking at a fade down towards 257, 256.50. And I went after Friday expiration 258 puts. Okay, so if I got that move, that's the move that we got, I would have probably, saw maybe 100% gain on those put options. But as soon as the Brexit deal was actually formally announced, you can see we just took it all right back. Took it all right back, and I ended up taking a loss on that option trade. You can see here, SPY 258, January 18th expiration put option at $1.22. I ended up exiting that trade at 85 cents per contract. And they actually ended up going much lower as we went into the close because we rallied all the way back up into the close to test the highs of the day. So I'm happy I cut it loose when I did, but the damage had already been done. And again, just adding to my frustration on the day. It was not a good day for me. P&L wise was not a good day. I've had worse P&L days. I only, the 2 losing trades today, but it was a frustrating day. I've had worse P&L days that were less frustrating than I did today. That feeling of scatteredness kind of early on was not a feeling that I am used to, and it really kind of threw me off a little bit, and I just had to kind of pull it back on myself and not go crazy. So tomorrow's a new day. Sucks. Not what I was hoping for today, but it happens. Just got to keep it moving. I've been doing this 14 years. This is not the first time it's happened. It's not going to be the last. Just got to know tomorrow's a brand new day, brand new setups, brand new patterns, and I start fresh back at zero, and that's the beauty of the markets. No matter how bad your day is, no matter how frustrating your day is, the market is always open tomorrow. I'll see you guys in chat. Take care.